Okay, so we got a new Power Rangers cover. I mean, a new One Piece cover. Looks pretty good. We see Loki finally in color. His hair's purple, red tattoos. The red tattoos are really reminiscent of Kaido. And the fan theory of Loki being related to Haruden and Kaido, or I mean Kaido being related to Loki and Haruden, I should say. I like that fan theory because I think it's partially true too, or could be true, right? The evidence is pointing all right there. Horns, the face, the tattoos. Come on, Kaido just being a random lineage, no parents, no mother. Come on, man. But let me say my little predictions of this chapter. Before the major spoilers come out, all that sort of stuff, like the true real spoilers. I don't know. I heard there might be some. I've seen something about a green dragon and all that, but I didn't really read any spoilers. This is what I wrote on. Let's see if the date is here. See, I started writing these notes on the 16th. I'm reading from my notes now. Well, no, this was on the 15th. My bad. So notes on the 15th, and I'm finally getting around recording it. It's the 17th now. Okay, Monday. Let's get right into what I think. So immediately after the last chapter ended, and Scopper has the key to Loki's, I was about to say grave, to his chains, right? Everybody immediately starts to think that Scopper will train Luffy and teach him some sort of big lesson. Now, it is possible, but I think while he might have some sort of unique ability that Luffy can learn from, or just the way he fights or something, or he might even tell him something in a flashback about Elbath, or whatever, or how they ran into the God's Knights before or something, or Shanks' brother, who knows, he might tell him anything. So while I think that might happen, I don't think he's gonna have any big lesson or any big teachings to give Luffy. I don't think there's any more training arcs left for any characters right now. I think we already did that and we're past it, especially with Luffy learning Rio. Okay, that was overkill. He already did that. So I don't think the main focus will be another Rayleigh-like teaching experience, but the fight will be interrupted by the other God Knight before it could even get that far, if it were to get that far, right? So I think the fight is going to be interrupted by the other God Knight that is supposed to be getting summoned. And maybe he gets summoned in the room that Scopper and Luffy are standing in. Maybe because the circle is still there. It seems like it's a lingering circle or some shit. So, and it's not numbered either, so it might be able to be used as a gateway between whoever's standing in it and where that one is currently. So I think that he might get summoned in between their fight, maybe while they're swinging at each other. He might pop up in the middle of both of them, okay? Or his Haki, if he doesn't pop up there for some odd reason, because the circle is there, if he doesn't pop up there, I imagine his Haki would be felt from across the distance and stuff. Even though Luffy and everybody else didn't feel Shamrock's Haki the first time for some reason. Scalper apparently felt that maybe Luffy and everybody else was distracted. That kind of brings up a question about inside the verse, about how things really work on that technical level. Like, can you be distracted so you don't sense Haki? Is it like how reality works? Like, if your eyes and ears, that's how I imagine it might work, right? Your eyes and ears are always on, they're always working. You don't have to really turn them on to start perceiving things with them. So you have this perception tool, like with Haki, it's probably, once you learn how to do it, you can probably just perceive it, like you can feel the air on your skin, right? Or like how you can hear sounds. So I imagine if you're just not paying attention or focused, you can miss it, just like you can miss something that's right in front of you, or you can accidentally ignore something. It's like background noise, you tune it out. So I imagine with Haki, sensing Haki is probably a similar way, a similar correlation between other senses, okay? If it's a sense or something that you have to apply yourself to do, you can be distracted, you can mess up. There's a margin of error that can be made. So yeah, maybe he gets summoned in a room, interrupts the fight directly in the middle of them. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But I think Scopper generally will not be that big of a threat to Luffy. Not saying Scopper's weak, okay? If he's like on par with Rayleigh, this is how I look at it. This is how you gotta look at some power scaling. And no, I'm not a power scaler, but power scaling is a general thing anywhere. Okay, we know certain people are stronger than certain people, and certain people are weaker. Power scaling comes into play when Oda writes a lot of shit. You know, he's not gonna have Usopp punch somebody in the face that he shouldn't be able to punch. Okay, he's gonna use some sort of shit, some tool or something. Okay, whatever. But I'm digressing again. So I think Scott won't be that big of a threat, for the simple reason that Luffy has reached top tier power levels with Gear 5. I'm not saying he's the strongest top tier power right now, because he's not completely used to the form, and he still burns out. He still burns out, and he's not used to it. He's not doing everything he can do with that form yet, which I'll probably make a separate video on that, because I think, like I said before, I feel like the will of D is strongly linked to people being able to manifest their dreams and desires in a physical sense. And Luffy's Nika form, I feel like, highlights that to a T when he's making goggles out of thin air and a baseball bat out of a tree and all these things, so on and so forth. But again, I keep digressing. So Luffy's at top tier power, more or less. And if you look at the scales of relativity, Kizaru was able to clash with Rayleigh. Now Rayleigh's stronger than Kizaru. If Rayleigh really wanted to try, he probably could have put some hands on Kizaru and fucked him up, hurt him. But he was just trying to hold him back because he didn't want to stop Luffy and everybody else's era from happening, right? So Rayleigh was there to hold him back. He had enough power to hold this man back, and not even, it's one-sided. He could hold him back. He's not in any danger from playing with Kizaru. Kizaru obviously trying his hardest, even though people want to claim that Kizaru doesn't try hard because of his laid-back personality and how his comedic character being like really chill and all that and calm. He was trying, okay, because he was frustrated at the fact that he couldn't get past him. And even Sentomaru, I forgot what Luffy calls him in Japanese. Well, he calls him axe guy, Masakari. And he just keeps running around calling him that, like he doesn't know his name, like he does with everybody. But Sentomaru, he was even surprised that, he was seen and witnessed Kizaru getting held back that so one-sidedly, okay? Now, Rayleigh, he can hold Kizaru back. I feel like Luffy is going to be like inverse of that situation in the past, because in Egghead, Luffy was holding Kizaru back, and he was also fighting Saturn. So Luffy's in a 2v1, maybe a 5v1, and he's holding back Kizaru, if not hurting him, because he's actually trying to hurt him, unlike Rayleigh. Rayleigh was just holding back. Luffy was hurting that dude. And yeah, Luffy got caught too, but come on, like Luffy was able to hold him back. If Luffy's on par with him, if not slightly stronger. So with him being on par with Kizaru, that would mean that somebody like Rayleigh would have the same sort of fight with Luffy around now. I'm just thinking in terms of relativity, okay? They don't have the same powers, but as far as power and they don't have the same abilities and power set, but as far as strength and power goes, like physical power and strength and all that goes, Luffy is around Kizaru now. So I feel like if Scopper is next to Rayleigh in power, if he's on par with Rayleigh, Luffy's fight with Scopper could be almost the inverse of Rayleigh fighting Kizaru at the time, okay? Because now you got the person that Luffy is on par with, he's fighting the person that guy was on par with in the past, okay? So I feel like Scopper he probably could be way stronger than Luffy, or stronger than him in general, but I don't think we're gonna see that. It's gonna play out, but Luffy's not gonna get his ass whooped in the chapter, okay? I think the fight's gonna really get interrupted first and foremost, like beyond all of that other speculation, right? And Luffy fought Kizaru, and it wasn't extremely one-sided when he did it. It was more on par, but it's okay. So now the God's Knights, I think the God's Knights are going to be people to be feared. They're going to be on the levels that can touch people like Luffy and everybody else, right? They're beyond Kizaru, right? So they're probably on par with people like Rayleigh, and maybe only their lowest members are on par with him. They got a lot of members. They could be stronger than him. We don't know. Shanks could be stronger than Rayleigh at this point. We don't know that. He's learned a move that no other And Oda said it himself, no other member of the Roger Pirates could learn Divine Departure that easy. It's not a move that any of the Roger Pirate members could really just learn. So he said Shanks has to be special or something. That's what he said. And there's multiple Gods Knights, so their powers are going to be really unique, aside from the Gorosei. So we got the Gorosei, then Gods Knights too. And Garland himself. Speaking of Garland, Oda mentioned something about Garland as well, and somebody asked if Garland was really strong, because they were referring to the God Valley flashback, and if he's really a combat type or whatever. I forgot what he said specifically, but he asked a question like that: is Garland a combat type, and how is he in combat? Oda said, yeah, he's strong, and there's a reason to his strength. Okay, you don't usually say that, because most people, like, yeah, there's a reason to most people's strength, right? They have a devil fruit, they train, they're just strong, they're born strong, you know, they got strong, something, right? So him saying that like that, it's almost like he's implying that he didn't get strong from a natural way, or even because of natural reasons, one would assume. Like the fact that he could be from special people, okay? We don't know what race of people he could be special and from or whatever. Maybe he's part of the people who dreamed about the moon. Who knows? His head is shaped like the moon, right? So maybe that people who dreamed about the moon, maybe he is from that ancient people and he's been alive this whole time. We don't know, right? That's speculation. But outside of being the celestial dragon, maybe Haki is actually something that can be transferred and gifted, like what Joy Boy and the Iron Giant Emerald hinted at. All right, this is what I think. I know it's headcanon, you know, there's no fact outside of what Joy Boy and the Iron Giant hinted at. Okay, but I really do feel like Haki can be gifted and transferred, aside from the process of people using and naturally having their Haki being viewed and the tools that they use, especially through like black blades and stuff. That's like, you know, that's like more of a natural Haki seeking process. I feel like outside of people being able to make black blades on purpose, there's got to be some other stronger methods to transfer Haki or utilize it remotely, right? So I think this might be even something that Luffy could learn. This could be a part of the lesson that Luffy could learn from Scopper, if there is any lesson for him to learn. Okay, he doesn't even have to full on teach him this. It doesn't have to sit him down, like I said, like a Rayleigh style teaching. This could be something that he introduces to him in passing, and it could be more. You can cut more corners with it than even the Rio training did, because the Rio training was not like Rayleigh's, where it's introducing a new power system. We already have a power system. Rio was just tagging on. I don't want to say extra because like make it sound like it's bullshit, but it was just tagging on other perspectives and other ways people use this same power we got introduced to, right? People is Haki, but over there they call it Rio, so they use it different and apply it different because they think about it different. They use it like Ki, right? They use it on the external, so they're actually sending their Rio out in the air like through shock waves, which people could do in the past, right? But that's what they specialize in. It's going through people's bodies and shit. It's inside of them. What if people can find a way to make that stay inside of somebody? What if they can find a way to make it strengthen somebody? You know, and this could be the type of Haki that's not being used that much. We got the observation Haki, is strengthening your own physical senses or whatever else, your physical senses or attributes to a higher degree. So there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of questions still in the air too, because this world is such a mystery, right? But yeah, I think it's possible Scopper could be talking to Luffy while he's fighting him and just, you know, talking about the uses of his own abilities and powers, and Luffy can learn just from that until their fight gets interrupted, if it does, right? I think it will. So as far as Loki goes, I think Loki obviously isn't dead. Maybe he used Haki to strengthen his body to take the blows from Cerberus. He probably might get help from that person he was talking to in the shadows, okay? Who knows? I still predict Luffy will go giant during this arc. It only makes sense. It only makes sense for Luffy to go giant during this arc, and the people of Elbaf have to see him go giant. I want to see what they think about him and how they refer to him, you know, and which legends they refer to him as, like the sun god who destroyed or the one who, like, you know, saved. They both laughed, but the one who destroyed her saved. Like, so which one, the salvation or destruction? Which sun god will they liken him to through his actions? Maybe the one of the destruction. I feel like it's going to be the one of destruction. I think that's who he is, right? Inadvertently, he's not an evil person by nature. He doesn't want to destroy, but through his destruction, he helps people. And like I said this in the other video, I'm not going to go through it deeply here. I said it in another video, so you should check that out. Okay, so I feel like Luffy could even start off his fight with Scopper using a lesser form than Gear 5th, just to start up, to like test it out, even though it's kind of not exactly Luffy's fighting style all the time. You know, he kind of goes all out, and he loves using Gear 5th. It seems like this is when he's the most free. He likes doing it. If it's, you know, if it's no skin off his back, if it's not gonna put him out of commission in the bad timing. So he likes doing it. Sometimes he's done it already sometimes and blew his power out and accidentally, you know, conked out. Didn't even realize he was going to conk out. So it's happened. But it'll be interesting to see if Luffy doesn't go all out this time and he's like kind of fighting this Roger Pirate tier character. Because Roger Pirate's just a tier of power now, I guess. Like, I'm sure there's a couple weak ass niggas on the team, but whatever. Roger Pirate's tier pirate, he's fighting him, and it would be cool to see Luffy not need Gear 5th for somebody like that. It would just be cool to see, okay? But then that would make people start questioning Lucci, and they'd start going back to that, especially from the anime. So maybe we don't need to see that, but that shit would be interesting, okay? It's not a main fight. It would tell us how strong Luffy thinks his opponent is. And last but not least, I want to mention one more thing I saw. Not only did I see a fan art of Shamrock, like with a little celestial dragon boy that looked like Luffy, and that shit was funny. But I heard this new rumor going around. This not rumor, but it's a fan theory going around about what if the person they summon is a Dracule. Just think about that. What if he's a Dracule and he looks like Mihawk? And he's a swordsman, and his devil fruit or his ability, maybe he turns into a bat. I added that part on. I didn't hear anybody say that part, but yeah, the part about him being a Dracule and him looking like Mihawk and being summoned, and coincidentally being with Shanks as like a partner in culling, right? A partner in culling. So a partner in subjugation. So who knows, man? But I'm out. I don't want this video to be 20 minutes.